It's match day, boys and girls, and I think quite an important one. Very early in the season. I don't know if I was going to say the 2-0 loss against Manchester City don't look too bad. It was bad. I was there. It did look bad, but it does seem like they're going to sweep all before them. But it's still important. We don't want to be one of the 2 other teams that join Manchester United and get relegated. Now, do we? It is important, not for the points at the moment, to be fair. I think we need a little pick-me-up, a little spring in our step. A lot of doom and gloom this week, a lot of disappointment. I understand it. But I think particularly the Anana thing, I don't know if you saw his little cameo as well. That's certainly got a few of us thinking, what if? We'll deal with that another time, maybe. Because what I want to pick up on is some of the things that David Moyes said. You couldn't shut him up. Literally couldn't shut him up. I had so much. I think I did a 15-minute video yesterday. I didn't even manage to cover everything. So I said today we would speak about Maxwell Cornet and Scamacca and his comments about those 2, and what better time to do it. We haven't got much time this morning. Kick-off, well, myself and Gio are going to kick off at 12:55, an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off, over on the main channel for the build-up show. So join us there for that. Join us there for that. That'll do. Good enough. Maxwell Cornet. Now, when he joined, I wasn't too sure. I think a few of us weren't. How was he going to be deployed? Because obviously we were looking at Kostic at the time, who predictably he left Frankfurt but didn't come to us. But it was, I think, argued, and some were suspecting and some were worried that he might be deployed as a left back, some a left wing back, and we didn't know if Moyes was going to use him as a left winger. And I think the same can be said as Cornet. Whilst Cornet was used primarily by Burnley as an attacking player, apparently historically he'd played some games at left back. I don't know, just what I heard. Well, David Moyes pretty much given us the answer that he sees him as an attacker. Really interesting comments from David Moyes over the past couple of weeks. Didn't really cover it much on this channel, but it's about us lacking something in attack. What he said was something that we all know and we'd all seen for quite a long time, which was we were a counter-attacking team, and in many respects teams sussed us out. So when David Moyes second came in, David Moyes' second stint, we started doing well after lockdown. People were still attacking us. We were seen as relegation fodder. People were attacking us. We'd counter-attack them. We'd win. We've been sussed out. So teams sit back more against us. They come up against West Ham. And I think because of the sort of back-to-back, top 8 finishes, people view West Ham and think, actually, maybe that won't be a bad point. And I think they sit back and then try and hit us on the break. So David Moyes was at pains to point out we need to try something different to break teams down. He was talking about Payet the other day, and he certainly wanted to tweak the tactics a bit, but get more attacking players. And the other day, when he was doing his press conference, he spoke about Cornet, and he very much said that he saw him as an attacking player. Part of the 3, he said, which I thought was really interesting. He said he could bring something different to the attack. I think he can. I think that's what I think is his directness. He's very, very direct, and he gives us some pace. I think we'll really, really notice the difference. I'll be very surprised if we didn't beat Nottingham Forest today. I'll be disappointed if we don't beat Nottingham Forest. I'll be distraught if Nottingham Forest beat us. But I do think if we do start with Cornet and we do start with Scamacca, then we're going to see a different dynamic to this West Ham team. It's not that Scamacca and Antonio isn't fast, not that he lacks pace, but he just... Even before he got injured, he looked shattered. He still looks shattered off the back of last season, doesn't he? And David Moyes had a few things to say about Antonio as well, which we'll get to in just a second. But he does look tired, really tired. Even though by David Moyes' own admission, Scamacca wasn't ready, Scamacca wasn't fit. I mean, the unfit Scamacca still looked fitter than what was perceived to be the fit Antonio. He wasn't fit. He started all bandages up and all the rest of it. I think it looks like he's ready for this game, as Gio alluded to. He's been tweeting about it and like he's looking forward to it. So I would imagine that Antonio is fit, or I say fit. Let's go available for this game. However, I'd start with Scamacca. Now, Moyes was saying Scamacca's really impressed him in training. I told you, you couldn't shut him up. Normally he doesn't say anything. He said he's been really impressed with his finishing. He's been impressed with his pace. There's another one. We like a bit of that. And his presence and his physicality. He said, I think he might have even used the words that he's got an intimidating presence about him. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean like in the staff canteen he's nicking everybody's waffles. I don't think he means that sort of intimidating. I think he means on the football pitch for defenders, he looks like a real handful. So it appears that he's been training really, really well. I think Cornet looks like he's settled as well by the looks of it. Looks like a really sort of friendly guy. I did find it a little bit odd. I don't know if you saw the sort of welcome Cornet video. It was Diop showing him round. Did you see that? It's on the West Ham main channel. Now, I've always said this when I've looked at videos of, like West Ham, they put out video clips of the training and all the rest of it. I've said this, if you're a regular watcher of the channel, I said before Diop even left, Diop seems to be everybody's friend. Diop's a nice guy. So it was no surprise to me. Obviously, Diop speaks French anyway, but Cornet's English is great. Didn't need to use him to do that. But basically, Diop was like the ambassador of the club to show Cornet around. I mean, strange choice of someone that's on his way in a couple of days, isn't it, really? Anyway, but Cornet looks like a good guy. Looks like he's well settled. He's posting on social media really, really positive things about the club and his new teammates and all the rest of it. Apparently, he's been very, very good in training. David Moyes is pleased, which is obviously good. And David Moyes was drawn on the subject of Scamacca and Antonio and Scamacca. And he pretty much did say straight off, he said, there will be times this season where we play two of them. He said, very rarely do managers these days play two up top, but Mikhail is flexible. He is. I don't mean it in a supple sense, because clearly he's not. He's basically broken. I think he means tactically. He's tactically supple. There you go. So he was saying, he could basically. He said Mickey can play wide, and we can play Gianluca through the middle. Now that doesn't seem bad at all, does it? However, that being said, I do wonder what he's going to do. I hope he starts with Scamacca and we see Antonio off the bench. Hell of a player to bring off the bench, Antonio. I suspect it'll be the other way round. I think he starts with Cornet. I think it's going to be really, really important for us to do that. And as a front three, Cornet, Scamacca, Bowen, I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult for a sort of rookie Premier League defence, really. Certainly, if you watch the games so far in this, game week number 2 in the Premier League. Been some really, really interesting results. And I think we need to try and we definitely need to try and pick up the 3 points. There is, as I say, there is a bit of a downer around things at the moment. People are a little bit disappointed. I don't think the story about, I'm only laughing because it wasn't my story. I didn't put the story out there. I was about 5th or 6th person to the news about the owners wanting to pie and David Moyes not wanting to pie. But I think stories like that don't help the mood. I think the fact we've really struggled over what was an important week to bring any players in at all. I think that's lessened the mood. Clearly, the defeat against Manchester City hasn't particularly helped either. So, I mean, a win's really, really important here. Then, of course, today we got the Lingard factor. I don't want to focus too much on that. My goodness. And I know you'll feel the same way. He can't score. I mean, it would be terrible. If Lingard scores, it will be absolutely terrible. I want to get Nottingham Forest done. I want to get them beat, and then they can carry on and do whatever they're going to do this season. And we need to move onwards and upwards. We do have, as somebody described next 3 games as winnable games. Brighton are in there, which I never find Brighton to be a winnable game, let's be honest. And that's going to be a real test of David Moyes' tactics, because he can pull off a little bit of tactical sleight of hand, can't he, Potter, against Moyes? But I do honestly believe that there are, I was going to say there's levels in football. There's levels in every sport. This is exactly why you have different leagues, different divisions, seedings, rankings, the cut in golf, qualifying, not only in Formula 1. There's various different levels. And I do believe that that the Nottingham Forest manager is going to find himself having to deal with managers who are just sharper tactically in the Premier League than they will in the Championship. Just stands to reason, right? That's why they're in the Championship. So we don't yet know. It's going to be a good test for their players. I just hope we're fitter. We've had another week. If we're fitter, if we're sharper, I think we just get it done. If midfield's an important one today. It really, really is. I think if Rice is on it, that's great. I think we'll clearly be able to attack far more than we did against Manchester City. And I think we should be a threat. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to stop us scoring. It's the question is, can we stop them scoring? Ordinarily, even if we had Dawson and Zuma, or just sort of any one of our regular centre backs, I'd say yes, we can stop them from scoring. Chuck Ben Johnson in there at centre back. It's not quite as easy, is it? But if we're fitter, we're sharp. Look, it's the win. It's got to be the win for West Ham, really. Early goal. shut the crowd up. Going to be noisy. You'd understand why. They're excited. Not been in the Premier League for years, have they? So they're going to be noisy. They're going to be excited. They probably haven't built a wall to segregate our fans away from theirs either. Oh, by the way, thanks for all your response on the stuff about London Stadium, the beer pricing, the wall, all of that. I sort of chucked it at the end of the video because I didn't. It's always difficult when you do these videos because not everybody attends the games, but you know, it's clearly something we'll deal with it. We'll chat a little bit more about it next week because I mean it's pretty rotten, really, and a lot of the stories have come out since then. A £10 or a crappy old burger and all the rest of it. That being said, I paid £7.50 for a burger today, but it was a bacon double cheese XL from Burger King. And it was big. I mean, it was a big burger. Was it £7.50 worth? I don't know. I don't know. It was in a shopping centre in Basingstoke, so I didn't have much choice. I was a captive audience. A lot of money for a burger, but anyway. But I think you're paying £10 in London Stadium for one that's half the size. Anyway, that's a subject for another day. Don't forget to get to join us at 12:55 today. Build-up show. Join us for that. Charlie will be doing the watch-along as well. Join Charlie for that. Myself and Gio straight away afterwards. So we'll be discussing the game. And then later on there'll be another video up on the forum channel. And then next morning, Monday morning, myself and Gio will be recording the player ratings over on Patreon. Got me book. I was gonna flash you the numbers from the but basically I won't show you that page. We've got our player ratings books there, which is part of our series over on Patreon. So be the second instalment of that, and we will find out come the end of the season who is our numerical hammer of the year. Numerical hammer of the year is clearly we will tally them up and we'll get an average. I think we agreed that to qualify for the Hammers Chat numerical hammer of the year. It's a crap name. What a crap name that is. It's my fault. I think what we have to do, they have to play 15 games. At least minimum 15 games to qualify. Otherwise, you could sort of play one game. David Moyes could get Memphis. Sullivan gets Memphis to pie, and David Moyes on a play and he plays one game, and he scores 2 goals and gets a 10 out of 10. He wins Hammer of the Year. You can't have it, so you have to have played 15 games. Anyway, ouch. Catch up here at 12:55. Don't be late.